You've been reporting all year through this pandemic, and I'm sorry you have to do that because you have to go through weekly tests. You don't have fans in the stadiums. How is it? Take us through a daily time in the stadium.
Well, Max, first off, doing that is nothing compared to what, the healthcare workers and a lot of people really facing this head on have to do. But look, the hardest part about doing what we do, even if you're a political reporter, whatever, is you're not having the face-to-face interaction, right? And that's where reporters like myself who have a certain type of personality and approach, we can work a locker room. We can have conversations with coaches or scouts or whomever and really get information. And because of this, teams now, like this NFL season, they decide who speaks to the media. I may not want to speak to the star of the game. I may want to speak to the lineman who threw the block to spring the running back, or I may want to speak to someone who's got a little side story that really enhances the main story. But I don't have that opportunity now. And that's a tough part about covering things through this pandemic. No fans, whatever, that's nothing. It's the human interaction part that's really tough.
So, as a reporter, do they give you who you have to interview? Do you choose? Do they give you your questions? How is it?
Nobody gives you my questions. Those are all self-taught observations from research, things like that. Again, in terms of who the subjects we talk to are, we know every day during the week, during the season, we're going to hear from the coach at least 3 times on a Zoom call, something like this. But in terms of players, they decide. Now, almost every team will give you the quarterback once a week. But, if you want to talk to a certain player, again, they put mainly the star players up there. Like, let's say for the Rams, they'll give us Aaron Donald and Jared Goff and Jalen Ramsey. But let's suppose I wanted to talk to a tight end. I can call and put a request, and it's a maybe. But it's not like it is if we could work a locker room and be there face to face with people.
You were a prominent reporter in the Colin Kaepernick news back in 2016. Walk us through what you think it is when players kneel for the flag and what you think they're trying to get across.
Well, that's simple. I mean, I was one who broke the Colin Kaepernick story. I was at the game when he first didn't stand for the national anthem. And his message was to bring attention to police brutality, to judicial reform, and how people of color had been treated by law enforcement and by the judicial system. And oftentimes when there was negative police behavior, police weren't punished for it. We still see that today. So that's why, when you see athletes kneel during the national anthem, it has gone from that as a form of protest to also a form of protest, but also a form of empathy and sympathy from some of these guys' teammates, understanding what it really means and kind of sharing in that feeling.
So in last year's draft, 3 big quarterbacks were taken. They also had other quarterbacks go later in the rounds: Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Tua Tagovailoa. I know it's still early in their careers, but who do you think right now looks the best?
Oh man, that's really tough. I mean, Joe Burrow was killing it before he got hurt. I mean, he's spectacular, and we're seeing what Justin Herbert um, is doing. Tua came in mid-season, and he was the one who really spent most of the time as a backup. So right now, I'll put him at number 3. He's still got a significant learning curve. I'm going to say I thought Joe Burrow looked the best. I mean, that's nothing against Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert's got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and, some really, really good players with him as opposed more so to Burrow, who's really working with a raw group of talent. But he looked fantastic to me. It's a shame he got hurt.
So this year, the Bills have their best record, 12-3, since their 1993 season, behind QB receiver connection Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Is that the team you think matches up the best against Kansas City, or would it be an NFC team like Green Bay or New Orleans?
Ooh, Kansas City's a tough go, but I like Buffalo because, they can run it, they can pound it. They've got some really good defensive players. Tre'Davious White's one of the best corners. They've got great safeties. They can get occasional pressure. They're susceptible to the run a little bit. When I look at some of the defenses that really match up well, it's real tough to say because it is hard to stop the Chiefs. That's a tough matchup. I think you also have to have a team that can score points. So I might say the Packers might be the best team to match up against the Chiefs, and maybe we'll see those two face off each other in the Super Bowl. I think the Buccaneers, you know what, I'll say this. I think the Buccaneers can match up with them. If we're talking head-to-head matchup, I think the Buccaneers could match up with them fairly well as well.
I mean, the Bucks right now are the 5th seed, so they got to win a couple games to get to them.
Doesn't matter. I mean, you're talking about matchups. You asked me a question about matchups, head-to-head matchups. And the NFL is not always about best record or who has the best rushing attack or the best defense. Certain teams play very well against certain teams, and that's one thing that we have to do as reporters. We have to look at who's got a certain defensive style that gives another team fits. I mean, it's why for years the Patriots had other teams' numbers, and certain teams had the Patriots' numbers because they matched up head-to-head very well.
So this year, the Steelers started off 11-0, but after injuries to key defenders like Devin Bush, Bud Dupree, they quickly lost 3 straight. Do you think they're still contenders in the AFC? Do you think they can still beat a team like the Bills, or are they out right now?
They're contenders. And look, when they lost those 3 games, it wasn't really on the defense. It was the offensive struggles. They still don't run the ball well. Ben had not played very well. And the receivers were having problems getting open. But they hit that on switch in the second half against the Colts in week 16, and that was huge. But they're legitimate contenders. I mean, as long as they play like that and they can get points on the board, that defense is going to be there. So they are absolutely 100% contenders.
So right now, the MVP conversation is narrowing down to 2 quarterbacks, in my opinion, between Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Who do you think will win the MVP this year?
Yeah, I think it'll be Aaron Rodgers. Because he's playing. I mean, again, you see the Chiefs' weapons, right? Their wide receivers. I like to say it's like Jamaica's 4x100 relay team because they're all so fast, so explosive. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams is just insane, but he just doesn't have the full fleet of talent that the Chiefs have. And Rodgers has just looked absolutely insane. So I think it'll be number 12 for the Packers getting his 3rd.
So now I'm going to go through the other NFL awards, and you explain to me who you think will win. Defensive Player of the Year.
Ooh, T.J. Watt. I think it'll be T.J. Watt or Aaron Donald.
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Justin Herbert, although Justin Jefferson's got a great chance to win it as well.
I think both those are pretty close. T.J. Watt, 15 sacks. Justin Herbert, 28 touchdowns. I mean, you can definitely debate those. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Ooh, Defensive Rookie of the Year could be Winfield, the safety down in Tampa Bay. Why am I blanking? There's a linebacker. I'm blanking right now on who that is. So circle back to me on that one while I'm thinking on it.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back to Chase Young, Jeremy Chin out of Carolina, other players outside.
Yeah, Chase Young. I think it'll be Chase Young just the way he's really finished up the season. That's a good call. Thanks for the reminder, Max.
How about the Comeback Player of the Year?
I mean, that's pretty easy. That's Alex Smith. I mean, the first time he stepped on the field, he gets the trophy.
Yeah, a lot of players have been giving him support through Twitter for coming back after that gruesome knee injury.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a staph infection almost kill you and they've got to chop off half your leg and you come back to start football games, that's some pretty heroic stuff right there.
How about the Coach of the Year?
It's Brian Flores. Brian Flores, Mike Tomlin, Kevin Stefanski, but I think what Flores has done has just been exceptional. The Dolphins are at least a year ahead of schedule. And the way he's kind of handled this quarterback situation, unorthodox as it is, he's made it work.